The city was quiet in the early morning, wrapped in a soft blanket of snow. The streets were empty, and the air had a crisp, fresh bite that made people pull their coats tighter. In the center of the city stood the botanical garden, a hidden place of beauty that seemed almost magical in the winter. Even in the cold, the glass greenhouses glowed with life, and the rare winter flowers painted small patches of color against the white landscape. Anna walked along the snow-covered path, her boots leaving careful prints behind. She loved visiting the garden in winter. Few people came at this time, and the silence made her feel peaceful. She wrapped her scarf tightly around her neck and pulled her gloves over her hands. Her breath rose in little clouds as she moved closer to the main greenhouse, where the tropical flowers grew. Inside, the air was warm and fragrant, carrying the sweet smell of flowers and damp earth. Anna smiled, letting the warmth wrap around her. She slowly walked along the paths, noticing the orchids with their delicate petals and the small ferns that seemed to glow in the soft greenhouse light. Each plant had a story, and Anna felt like she was discovering a secret world. As she turned a corner, she froze for a moment. There was someone sitting on a wooden bench near the frosted windows, sketchbook in hand. He seemed completely absorbed in his work, his pencil moving carefully over the paper. The man had dark hair, neatly combed, and wore a simple blue sweater. There was something calm and focused about him that made Anna pause. She cleared her throat softly, not wanting to startle him. His eyes lifted from the sketchbook, and for a moment, their gazes met. His brown eyes were warm and curious, and Anna felt a small flutter in her chest. He smiled faintly, and she felt a strange sense of comfort, as if she had seen him somewhere before, though she knew she hadn't. Anna stepped closer, pretending to admire the plants along the path. She noticed how the sunlight through the glass made the frost on the windows sparkle like tiny diamonds. She wondered if he had been coming here often, sketching the same view, enjoying the silence just like she did. "I didn't mean to bother you," she said softly, though she hadn't been bothering him at all. He shook his head, still smiling. "No, not at all. I was just drawing." "What are you drawing?" Anna asked, her curiosity winning over her shyness. He held up the sketchbook a little. "The greenhouse. And the frost on the windows. It's peaceful here." Anna nodded, her eyes following the lines of his sketch. The drawing was simple but beautiful, capturing the soft light and the quiet beauty of the garden. She could see the care he had put into every detail. "Yes, it is," she said. "I come here often. There's something calm about winter in the garden. It feels like time stops for a while." He looked at her and nodded slowly. "Exactly. It's quiet, and you can think. Or just watch the world for a while." They fell silent then, but it was not an awkward silence. It was the kind of quiet that feels comfortable, the kind where two people can be together without needing words. Anna glanced around at the greenhouse, at the sparkling frost, at the bright orchids, and then back at him. There was something intriguing about him, something gentle and sincere that made her want to know more. "I'm Anna," she said finally, offering her hand. He smiled and took it. "Daniel," he replied. His hand was warm, and the touch sent a small thrill through her. It was a simple introduction, but it felt like the beginning of something new. For the rest of the morning, they walked together among the plants, talking quietly about flowers, the garden, and the beauty of winter. Every now and then, their hands brushed, sending small sparks of warmth through the cold air. The world outside seemed far away, and for a while, It was just Anna, Daniel, and the peaceful winter garden. As Anna left that day, she turned back to look at him one last time. Daniel was still sketching, but he looked up and gave her a small, shy smile. Anna smiled back, feeling a strange and exciting pull in her heart. She did not know what the future would bring, but she knew that this quiet winter morning had changed something inside her forever. After that first meeting in the greenhouse, Anna found herself thinking about Daniel more often than she expected. The memory of his calm smile and the warmth in his eyes stayed with her, even when she was busy at work or walking through the city streets. She realized that the winter garden, which had always been her quiet retreat, now held a new kind of magic, one she could not explain. The next morning, Anna wrapped her coat tightly around her and returned to the garden. She walked through the snowy paths, her boots crunching softly over the frozen ground. When she reached the greenhouse, she saw Daniel sitting in the same spot as before, sketchbook open, pencil moving steadily over the paper. He looked up as she approached and smiled. "Good morning, Anna," he said. His voice was gentle, like the soft rustle of leaves in a calm breeze. "Good morning, Daniel," she replied, feeling a small flutter in her chest. "You're here early." "I come often," he said simply. "It's the best time, quiet, peaceful. You can really see the frost on the windows and the light on the plants. It's easy to forget the cold outside." Anna nodded, walking slowly beside him. She noticed the way the sunlight glinted through the glass, making the frost sparkle. "It is beautiful," she said. "And peaceful, like you said. I feel like I can just breathe here." Daniel smiled again and nodded. "Exactly. That's why I sketch. It helps me notice the small things, the little details most people miss. It's calming." They walked together among the plants, talking about the flowers and the winter blooms. Anna loved how Daniel noticed everything: the curve of a fern, the pattern of frost on a leaf, the way sunlight touched a small orchid. He spoke quietly, but with passion, and she felt drawn to the care he put into his words and sketches. As they moved along a path lined with tiny snow-covered bushes, Anna noticed a small cluster of blue flowers peeking through the frost. "Look at these," she said, bending slightly to examine them. "Even in the cold, they grow." Daniel leaned closer, his eyes following hers. "Yes. Life always finds a way, even when it seems impossible. That's what I love about the garden. It's full of surprises." For the first time, they laughed together, a light, soft sound that filled the greenhouse with warmth. The sound seemed to make the cold outside fade away, leaving only the small world they had created together. Anna realized she felt safe with Daniel, as if she could share her thoughts without fear. "I like talking to you," she admitted quietly, almost afraid he might not feel the same. Daniel looked at her, a gentle smile spreading across his face. "I like talking to you too, Anna. You notice things I sometimes forget. And you make the garden feel even more alive." Their conversation continued as they wandered among the tropical plants, moving slowly from the orchids to the ferns, then to the small palm trees in the corner. Every few steps, they would stop to admire a bloom, or a frost pattern, or simply to watch the sunlight play on the leaves. With each moment, the distance between them seemed smaller, and the connection stronger. At one point, Daniel offered Anna a seat on the wooden bench near the frosted windows. They sat side by side, their shoulders almost touching. Anna felt a warmth spreading through her, a feeling that was both exciting and comforting. "I've never met anyone like you," Daniel said softly, almost as if he were speaking to himself. You notice the beauty in everything, and it makes me want to notice more. Anna looked at him, her heart beating a little faster. I feel the same way, she said. You make this place even more special. They sat in comfortable silence for a few moments, watching the frost pattern slowly melt in the soft greenhouse light. Anna felt that something new was beginning, a gentle, unspoken bond that went beyond friendship. The winter garden, quiet and still, had become a place of connection, where two people could share small moments and simple joys. As the sun began to rise higher, Anna realized she had spent more time than she expected. She smiled at Daniel. I should go before it gets too late. He nodded, but his eyes held a quiet hope. I'll be here tomorrow, if you want to come again. Anna smiled, feeling a warm glow in her chest. I think I will, she said. As she walked back through the snowy path, she felt lighter, happier, and more alive than she had in a long time. The winter garden had brought her more than just beauty, it had brought the possibility of something wonderful, something worth waiting for. And deep inside, she knew that tomorrow, and the days after, would hold even more moments she could not yet imagine. The next day, Anna returned to the winter garden with a light feeling in her chest. The crisp air seemed less cold when she thought about seeing Daniel again. She wrapped her scarf tightly and walked along the snow-covered path, her eyes searching for him. As she reached the greenhouse, she saw him sitting on the familiar wooden bench, sketchbook in hand. Daniel looked up and smiled the moment he saw her. Good morning, Anna, he said, his voice warm and calm. Good morning, Daniel, she replied, feeling a small thrill as she walked closer. I hope I'm not interrupting your drawing again. Not at all, he said, closing his sketchbook gently. It's always nice to have someone to share the quiet with. They began walking along the greenhouse paths together, just as they had before. The sunlight shone through the glass, reflecting off the frost, and the small winter blooms seemed brighter when they walked side by side. Anna noticed the little details she had never seen before, the delicate patterns on the leaves, the tiny drops of melted frost, the way the light fell on the plants. As they approached a corner filled with bright orchids, a sudden flurry of snow began to fall outside. Tiny flakes pressed against the glass, sparkling like diamonds in the sunlight. Daniel stopped and laughed softly. Looks like winter isn't done with us yet, he said, turning to Anna. She smiled back, enjoying the sound of his laughter. It's beautiful, she said. Look at the snow on the trees outside, it's like magic. Daniel nodded and glanced around the greenhouse. It is beautiful. But I think it would be more fun to watch it together, from somewhere warm. He paused and looked at her with a playful expression. There's a small corner with benches under this glass roof. We can stay there for a while. Anna agreed, and they moved to the small bench tucked among the ferns. The glass above them allowed them to see the snow falling softly outside, while the warmth of the greenhouse made the air comfortable. They sat side by side, their shoulders almost touching, enjoying the peaceful moment together. After a while, Daniel noticed that Anna's hands were cold. Without a word, he gently took off his scarf and offered it to her. Here, he said softly. This will keep you warm. Anna accepted it, feeling the warmth of the scarf and a little warmth in her heart. She wrapped it around her neck and felt a spark of happiness. Thank you, Daniel, she said quietly. That's very kind of you. They continued to watch the snow through the glass roof, talking softly about the plants and the garden. Their conversation flowed easily, like two streams joining together. They shared little stories about their lives, their childhood memories, and dreams for the future. Each word, each laugh, made the connection between them stronger. At one point, Daniel reached over and brushed a small snowflake off Anna's hair. Their eyes met, and for a moment, neither spoke. The quiet between them felt comfortable and warm. Anna realized that these small gestures, the scarf, the shared smiles, the gentle touch, were building something special, something deeper than friendship. "I like being here with you," Anna said softly. "Even with the cold outside, it feels warm." Daniel smiled, looking into her eyes. "I feel the same. It's like the garden isn't just full of plants, it's full of moments like this, moments that matter." They sat together for a long time, enjoying the calm, peaceful atmosphere. The snow continued to fall outside, but inside, they felt a quiet joy that made the winter seem less harsh. Each small glance, each gentle laugh, strengthened the bond between them. As the afternoon light began to fade, Anna realized she had spent hours with Daniel without noticing the time. She stood up slowly. "I should go now," she said, feeling a little reluctant. Daniel nodded, but his eyes held a quiet hope. "I'll be here tomorrow," he said. "The garden, and I, will be waiting." Anna smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. "I'll come," she promised. She walked back along the snowy path, thinking about the small moments of connection, the laughter and the gentle touches. That evening, Anna realized that the winter garden had become more than just a place of beauty. It had become a place of connection, hope, and something new, something exciting. She could not wait for tomorrow, and she knew that Daniel felt the same. The days grew colder as winter deepened, but Anna still found herself returning to the garden. Each visit brought the same quiet joy she had discovered with Daniel. They walked together among the frosted paths, their conversation flowing easily, their laughter mingling with the soft hum of the greenhouse. Yet, beneath the warmth of their growing connection, a shadow of worry had begun to settle in Anna's heart. One afternoon, while Anna and Daniel sat on the wooden bench watching the frost glitter in the afternoon sun, her phone buzzed. She pulled it out reluctantly, seeing the message from her work. Anna's eyes widened as she read it. Her company wanted her to transfer to another city for a few months to help with an important project. It was an exciting opportunity, but it also meant leaving the city and Daniel. Her heart sank. She looked up at the falling snow outside the greenhouse, feeling a strange mix of excitement and fear. Daniel noticed the change in her expression immediately. "Anna, what's wrong?" he asked gently, concern in his eyes. She hesitated, unsure how to put her feelings into words. Finally, she said softly, I have to move to another city for work. It's temporary, but I don't know how long I'll be gone." Daniel's eyes darkened slightly, but he kept his voice calm. "I see," he said. That is important. I'm happy for you. But I'll miss you." Anna felt a lump form in her throat. "I'll miss you too," she admitted. "I didn't expect this. I didn't expect to feel so attached." Daniel reached over and gently took her hand in his, their fingers brushing. The touch was soft, comforting, and filled with unspoken understanding. "Anna," he said, "even if we're apart, we can still be part of each other's lives." "I believe that." She nodded, feeling both warmth and sadness at his words. "I hope so," she whispered. For the rest of that afternoon, they walked together through the garden, trying to push the worry aside. They admired the winter blooms, laughed softly at small jokes, and shared quiet moments of connection. Yet, beneath it all, a gentle tension hung in the air. Every glance, every touch, seemed more precious now, as if they both knew that time together was limited. At one point, they reached the corner of the greenhouse where the sunlight hit the frost in a perfect sparkle. Daniel stopped and turned to Anna. "I want you to promise me something," he said quietly. Anna looked at him, curious. "What is it?" "Promise me that no matter where you go, you won't forget the garden, the winter, and us," he said, his voice soft but firm. Anna's eyes glistened. "I promise," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "I won't forget anything. And I hope you won't either." Daniel smiled faintly, a mixture of hope and longing in his eyes. "I won't. I promise." They sat together for a while in silence, letting the moment sink in. Even with the uncertainty of the future, they found comfort in knowing that their connection was real and meaningful. The garden, with its frost and flowers, seemed to hold their promise of frozen memory that would last, even as life moved on. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the greenhouse, Anna finally stood. "I should go," she said softly. "I'll need to prepare for my move." Daniel nodded, but he did not let go of her hand immediately. "I'll see you before you leave," he said. "We'll make sure there's a proper goodbye." Anna smiled through the ache in her heart. "I'd like that," she said. She walked away slowly, leaving the greenhouse behind, feeling both hope and sadness. She knew that the next days would be difficult, but she also knew that the bond she had with Daniel was something worth holding onto. That night, as she packed and thought about her upcoming journey, Anna realized that love was not always about easy moments. Sometimes it was about holding onto something precious even when life pulled you in different directions. And with that thought, she smiled softly, knowing that the winter garden and Daniel would always be a part of her heart. The day before Anna's move arrived faster than either of them had expected. The winter garden, usually quiet and serene, seemed to glow with an unusual warmth as she made her way to the greenhouse. Each step felt heavier, her heart full of both excitement for her work and sadness for leaving Daniel behind. She hoped they could share one last meaningful day before the temporary separation began. When Anna arrived, she saw Daniel waiting by the bench, his sketchbook closed beside him. He looked up as she approached and smiled, though there was a shadow of worry in his eyes. "You're here," he said softly. "I was hoping you would be." "I wouldn't miss this," Anna replied, walking closer. Her heart fluttered, remembering all the small moments they had shared in this garden. They began their walk along the familiar frosted paths, speaking in soft tones, sharing memories of their time together, the laughter, the small gestures, and the quiet talks about life and dreams. With each step, the weight of the coming separation pressed on them, but they tried to focus on the present moment, on the connection that had grown between them. As they reached the greenhouse corner where sunlight streamed through the frosted windows, Daniel stopped and turned to her. His brown eyes were serious now, filled with unspoken emotion. "Anna," he said quietly, "there's something I need to tell you. Something I should have said a long time ago." Anna looked at him, curious and a little nervous. "What is it?" she asked softly. Daniel took a deep breath. I care about you, Anna. More than I expected. These days with you, they've become the best part of my life. I didn't realize it at first, but now I can't imagine not thinking about you, not sharing this garden with you, not having you in my life." Anna's heart skipped a beat. She felt a rush of warmth and relief. "Daniel," she whispered, "I feel the same way. I've been scared to say it, But I care about you too. More than I expected. For a moment, the garden was silent, holding its breath along with them. The frost sparkled in the sunlight, and the gentle hum of the greenhouse seemed to surround them with calm and beauty. They moved closer, almost instinctively, and shared a soft, tender hug. In that embrace, the fear of the future melted away, replaced by the warmth of a shared heart. "I'm going to miss you," Daniel said quietly, resting his forehead against hers. Anna nodded, feeling tears prick at the corners of her eyes. "I'll miss you too," she replied. "But I want us to promise something. That no matter where we are, we'll keep this, us. This connection." Daniel smiled, a mixture of hope and determination in his expression. "I promise," he said softly. "No matter what happens, we'll find a way to stay connected." They sat together on the bench, hands entwined, sharing stories, laughter, and dreams for the future. Every glance, every touch, was precious, as if they were storing the memory of this day to carry through the coming weeks apart. Anna noticed how much Daniel had become part of her life, how naturally her thoughts turned to him, how much she wanted him near. As the afternoon sun began to fade, casting golden light across the frost-covered garden, Daniel reached for his sketchbook and drew a small picture of the greenhouse corner where they had spent so many moments together. He handed it to Anna. "A little memory for you," he said softly. Anna smiled, feeling a rush of emotion. "Thank you," she whispered. She held it close, knowing it would remind her of this place, this moment, and of Daniel. Finally, the time came for her to leave. They stood together near the greenhouse door, holding hands, neither wanting to let go. Daniel bent slightly and placed a gentle kiss on Anna's forehead, a quiet promise of his feelings and their bond. "I'll come back soon," she said softly. "And we'll have more moments like this." Daniel nodded, a small smile on his lips. "I'll be waiting," he replied. Anna walked away slowly, looking back one last time at the winter garden and Daniel. Though the coming days would be difficult, she felt hope in her heart. Their love, gentle but strong, had been confessed. And that confession, that connection, was enough to carry them through the separation until they could meet again. Anna's new city was bright and busy, full of sounds and movement that made her head spin at first. She threw herself into her work, eager to make the most of the opportunity, but no matter how occupied she was, her thoughts kept drifting back to Daniel and the winter garden. Every morning, she woke with a small ache in her heart, missing the quiet moments, the laughter, and the warmth they had shared. She and Daniel had promised to stay connected, and they did. Their phone calls became a cherished routine, a way to hear each other's voices and feel closer despite the distance. They shared stories about their days, about the little surprises they found in their work, and about the small details that made them smile. Anna told Daniel about the flowers she saw on her walks, and he shared sketches of the garden as he remembered it, each one filled with the warmth of their time together. Yet, even with calls and messages, the distance was difficult. Anna sometimes felt a quiet loneliness in the evenings, missing the simple act of sitting beside him on the bench, of walking through the frosted paths, of feeling his hand brush against hers. She would look at the sketches he sent her, tracing the lines with her fingers, imagining that she was walking through the greenhouse with him again. Daniel, too, felt the emptiness. The winter garden seemed quieter without Anna's laughter and presence. He continued to sketch, but the drawings no longer felt complete. Each time he captured the frost on the windows or the sunlight through the glass, he imagined Anna there beside him, sharing the moment. Her absence was noticeable in every corner of the garden, yet the memory of her smile, her warmth, and her gentle presence kept him going. One evening, Anna called Daniel after a long day at work. She sat by her apartment window, watching the city lights twinkle as snow began to fall outside. "I miss you," she said softly. Daniel's voice, warm and calm, filled her ears. "I miss you too. Every day. But, this distance, it will make our time together even more special when we meet again." Anna smiled, feeling a small spark of hope. "You're right," she said. "It's just hard sometimes. I keep thinking about the garden and you, and I wish I could be there." "I know," Daniel replied gently. "I think about you all the time too. And I try to keep busy, but nothing compares to being with you. We just have to hold on to the little things, the calls, the letters, the memories until we can see each other again." They talked for hours, sharing small stories, laughing quietly, and remembering the moments that had made their connection so special. Every word, every laugh, strengthened their bond, proving that distance could not weaken the feelings they had for each other. Anna began writing little notes for Daniel, tucking them into her bag to send whenever she could. She included sketches of flowers she saw, descriptions of the city streets, and small messages of love and hope. Daniel responded in kind, sending her small drawings of the garden, little sketches of their favorite corners, and words that reminded her that she was always in his thoughts. Even with the longing, the separation allowed them to realize the depth of their feelings. Anna noticed how much she cared for Daniel, not just for the laughter or the gentle moments, but for the quiet strength and warmth he brought into her life. Daniel, too, understood how much Anna had become part of his world, how her presence had added color to the frost and warmth to the cold winter days. Months passed, and although they were apart, the bond between them grew stronger. Each message, each call, each small gesture kept their hearts connected. And deep inside, both Anna and Daniel knew that soon, when the snow melted and the garden bloomed again, they would reunite, stronger and closer than ever. The distance was challenging, but it also proved that love was not only about being near, it was about caring, trusting, and holding on to each other, even when life put miles between them. The first signs of spring had begun to appear in the city. The snow was melting, revealing green grass and small buds on the trees. Anna's work in the new city had finished, and she felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness as she returned home. She thought about the winter garden and Daniel every day of her time away, imagining what it would be like to see him again. Her heart raced as the familiar streets came into view, and the anticipation grew with each step. When Anna reached the garden, she paused at the gate, taking a deep breath. The greenhouse stood just as she remembered, the glass glowing in the soft afternoon light. Flowers were starting to bloom, bright and colorful after the long winter. She could see the wooden bench where they had shared so many moments, and her heart skipped a beat. Daniel was there, standing near the bench, sketchbook in hand. His eyes lifted as he noticed her, and a smile spread across his face that made Anna's chest feel warm. He closed his sketchbook quickly and took a step toward her. "Anna," he called softly, though his voice carried excitement. She ran the last few steps, her scarf trailing behind her, and stopped in front of him. For a moment, they just looked at each other, smiling, their hearts beating faster. Then Daniel opened his arms, and Anna stepped into them. They hugged, a long, gentle embrace that seemed to melt away the months of distance and longing. "I missed you so much," Daniel whispered, his forehead resting against hers. "I missed you too," Anna replied softly, closing her eyes and holding him close. More than I can say. They walked together through the greenhouse, hand in hand, as if they were discovering it for the first time. The flowers were brighter in the spring sunlight, and the warmth of the greenhouse made the air feel soft and alive. Anna noticed small buds that had grown into blooms while she was away, and Daniel pointed out the ones he had sketched, laughing softly at his attempts to capture their beauty. As they reached the corner where the sunlight poured through the glass, Daniel stopped and turned to Anna. "I've been waiting for this day," he said quietly. "To see you here again, to be with you, and to finally share this moment without distance between us." Anna smiled, feeling a rush of happiness. "It feels like coming home," she said. "Not just to the garden, but to you." Daniel's eyes softened, and he gently took her hands in his. "I want us to make more memories," he said. "Not just in the garden, but everywhere. I want to be with you, Anna, as much as I can." Anna's heart soared. "I want that too," she said, her voice filled with warmth. "We can start here, in the garden, where it all began." They sat on the wooden bench together, talking quietly and laughing softly. They shared stories about the months apart, about the little notes, sketches, and calls that had kept them connected. Each word reminded them of their bond and how strong it had become. The winter garden, now blossoming with spring, mirrored the growth of their feelings, once quiet and cautious, now bright, alive, and full of promise. Daniel reached over and brushed a small strand of hair from Anna's face, his fingers gentle and careful. She leaned slightly closer, feeling the warmth and comfort of his presence. For the first time in months, the ache of distance was gone. They were together again, and it felt as if nothing could ever break the connection they had built. As the sun began to set, painting the greenhouse in soft orange and pink, Daniel stood and offered his hand to Anna. "Shall we take a walk?" he asked. Anna smiled and took his hand. "Yes," she said. Together, they walked through the paths of the garden, past the blooming flowers and sparkling fountains, their hearts full of happiness. The winter garden had been the place where they had met, laughed, and shared their first moments of love. Now, in spring, it had become the place of their reunion, a symbol of hope, patience, and the enduring power of connection. Hand in hand, Anna and Daniel walked through the garden, knowing that the future held many more beautiful moments, together, side by side.